What's up, guys? Pittsburgh White Schwartz back again with another Rush Rundown. This time we're going to talk about Fujimi Bunko and the English competitive metagame. This will be a quick, concise overview of Fujimi's strengths, weaknesses, and notable cards that you'll need to know in order to effectively play into it, all in 10 minutes or less. While these videos aren't meant to be totally comprehensive, we've included a lot of information in this video about Fujimi, so feel free to pause it if we are moving too fast. Alright, let's get into it. So Fujimi is one of the first true 8 standby decks in the English meta, due to the fact that it has the ability to both accelerate itself to level 1 very quickly, and also push out one of the strongest level 2 standby targets in the game. On top of this, they also have a very strong level 3 standby target that further powers up their board, ways to neg soul your board when you attack into it late in the game, and other various tools to play along with that game plan. Fujimi isn't typically looking to reverse with any of their combos. They just want to play their 8 standbys, get their big stuff out, and make it so that you can't reverse their board, but they can reverse yours, pushing their advantage that way with their very large standby targets. So jumping right into it, our first card here, this Hanbei, level 0, probably the centerpiece of Fujimi's game plan. This card allows the Fujimi player, when they play a climax, clock the top card of their deck, look at up to 4, and add a level 1 or higher character among them to their hand. This is mainly important because it not only allows the Fujimi player to plus off of their hard playing their standbys, but it also allows them to accelerate themselves to level 1. So say your Fujimi opponent is just about to level up, they are at 0-6. They play a climax, they level themselves up off of this, they are now level 1, and then they can resolve their standby effect and standby out their very powerful level 2 standby target, the Tomonori there, which sits at an extraordinarily high power level very early in the game and can be very punishing if you have no way to deal with it. Fujimi decks will run this card at very high counts due to the powerful influence that it can have in accelerating their game plan. Alright, our next card to talk about here is this level 3 Asya. She is a pretty clear-cut level 3 standby target. She gives all of your characters global 1500 power, and if the climax, the standby that she combos with, is in your climax zone at all, she gives an additional global 1500 to all of your characters. That effect is continuous, so even if she is pulled out with the standby, still gives all of the Fujimi players' characters that 1500 power for the duration of the turn, so long as the climax is in the zone. On top of that, this card also, if the Fujimi player has to hard play it from hand later, it heals for 1, just because. But this is absolutely a card that the Fujimi player will be running at high counts. It makes their already extremely large level 2 standby targets, their beaters, even stronger, even more of a pain to deal with. The next card here, this level 0, gives Fujimi access to a stock swap. Pay 3 on play, stock swap the Fujimi player's opponent. In addition, sits at 2500 on the Fujimi player's turn, reasonably hitting over a lot of utility cards. That allows the Fujimi player to play it at a reasonably high count, usually 2 probably. But it also allows the Fujimi player to pay out stock if they have to, or punish you for overly compressing, for getting a little bit greedy. So definitely be aware that Fujimi has access to the ability to stock swap you, because if you overextend too hard, they will punish you for it. The next card we have here is this level 3 early play Rumia. She is a full field early play. On play, the Fujimi player can choose any Bunko card or magic character in their clock and put it into their memory. So it allows them to memory compress a little bit early in the game at level 2. In addition to that, this card also has the additional effect strapped onto it. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, the Fujimi player may pay 1, discard 2, and double any character's power until the end of turn. So if you thought you were safe hiding behind whatever wall you had built up, you're able to hit over Fujimi's cards. Guess again, because Fujimi can make, whether that be this card or their already absurd power level 2 standby target, even more extraordinarily powerful and hit over whatever wall you were hiding behind. The last card to talk about here in Fujimi is this 3-4 counter event, which allows the Fujimi player on play to choose 2 of your characters and give them -2 soul until the end of turn. While 4 stock might seem a little bit steep for this card, Fujimi usually doesn't have a problem paying for it due to the fact that they are usually not starved for resources, due to the fact that they hide behind their level 2 standby target all game, not really having to commit any additional resources to keeping that alive. 2/2 sits on the board, builds stock for free, which allows Fujimi to reasonably play multiple copies of this card leading into the end of the game. So definitely be aware that this is a card Fujimi plays, as they will have this card in hand more often than not going into the end game. Counters to be aware of in Fujimi: they'll play the 3500 counter, the blue one here, and the 2K green counter solely to protect their standby targets. Additionally, Fujimi has access to a Ditch 2 waiting room anti-change, which they will occasionally play, as it can just double as a 2500 power backup in worst case to protect their standby targets, and in best case act as a money counter to stop an attack. The last card to talk about here is this 2-0 Toka event, which removes a trait from one of your characters until the end of turn. So that is a little bit niche, and you probably won't see it, but definitely be aware that that's something Fujimi can do. Common builds of Fujimi: the vast majority of the time in a competitive setting, you will run into this 8 standby Fujimi deck that I have been referring to with all of the cards in the presentation so far here. Although occasionally people really do like Kurumi and Data Live, so you could potentially run into a deck that plays the Kurumi finisher and one of the other level 1 combos in the set. So in conclusion here, Fujimi is definitely not level lockable, due to the fact that they have access to a Riki, and they also have access to the level 0 Hanbei that can accelerate them to level 1, as that is absolutely something that they want to be doing. That is something that they will play. So definitely don't try to level lock Fujimi. As far as anti-change or bombs, if anything, they'll be running the Ditch 2 anti-change from the other slide, but most of the time their board clears, quote-unquote, will just be their big-bodied level 2 standby targets that they pulled out early and are protecting for the entire game. The most popular build by a long shot is 8 standby, due to the fact that it has the very powerful level 2 standby target, the ability to heal loop off of the early play, Neg Soul event counter, to further protect the Fujimi player, and the powerful level 3 standby back row target, makes Fujimi a very formidable 8 standby deck. As I've been getting at, Fujimi's biggest strength is being able to accelerate themselves up to level 1 and ramp out huge standby targets as early as the first or second turn of the game. This allows Fujimi to win board turn after turn and build resources in both their hand and stock, and then use those resources to push their advantage into the end game. Fujimi is weak at recovering from early damage, so if you hit them hard early and they aren't set up, maybe they don't have their level 2 standby target in waiting room or something like that, it can put them behind pretty hard, in addition to the fact that standby climaxes don't have inherent plus soul built into them. So if they fall behind in damage as well, they have a little bit of trouble pushing that. As far as set popularity, you can expect to see Fujimi some of the time. The set contains a number of shows that are fairly popular, and the 8 standby strategy is pretty strong. However, the set was short printed in the US, and due to that, you probably won't see too much of it. And that's basically it for Fujimi. If you liked this video, be sure to drop us a like or a comment. Let us know how we did. That really helps us out. We will be releasing more Rush Rundowns every single Wednesday every week, along with our usual deck techs every other Friday. Along with the links that we drop at the end of all of our videos, we'll also link some sample deck lists for Fujimi below if you'd like a more in-depth example of what you can expect to run up against in a shop challenge or a regional. And with that, I think we're done. Pittsburgh Weiss Schwartz signing off. We'll see you in the next video.